So we are starting literal equations, and literal equations are very literal. So what the actual definition of it is equations with multiple variables. So equations with multiple variables. So this first one, the 2x minus 5 equals 13, that's not too bad to figure out. You know you got to add 5 to both sides. And they give you 2x equals 13 plus 5 is 18. Divide by 2, x equals 9. Okay, now the problem on the right is like what we're going to be doing in this section. So you're going to be doing basically the same thing, but since you do not have numbers, you cannot combine anything. So it says solve each of these equations below for x. So what we're trying to do over here is get x by itself. So if you look over at this equation, what do we do first?
You add 5.
Added 5. So what do you think we would do first on this one? Add b. Good. Well, we know whenever you do the opposite, that cancels out. So now you're left with a x equals, can we combine b and c?
Yeah, so would it be?
They're not like terms,
You can't combine them.
so you cannot combine them. So you're going to do b plus c. So if you think about it, this is actually easier because you don't have to actually think. You don't have to do any math. You don't have to combine, like, do any, you don't have to do like 5 plus 2 or whatever. You literally just write down the variables. So now we got to get x by itself. So if we look over here at this one, we divide it by 2 because that's 2 times x. So what are we going to divide by to get the x by itself?
X.
Divide by a. So we're dividing all of this by a. That cancels out. Are there any like terms over here?
No.
So that's your final answer. X equals b plus c over a. And that's it. You were done after that point.
It's not that bad.
So, yeah, it's not, it just looks weird. It looks totally different than what you've done before. So, it looks like it's not completely solved whenever you finish your thing, but your whole entire goal, whatever variable they want by itself, get that by itself. So if they had asked for a by itself, you do the same thing until you get a by itself. If they had asked for b to be by itself, same thing. So, some similarities that we would do. Both of them use opposite operations to isolate the variable. So both use opposite operations to isolate the variable. The difference is literal equations do not simplify nice and neat. And that's what confuses people. They don't simplify nice and neat. All right. Just gonna move that up a little bit. All right. So number 1, it says solve for W.
Teachers, students, and your attention, please.
So number 1, it says solve maybe. All right, now back to this.
Desmos, and it help you any or?
No, Desmos does not help you one bit in this. If you put in Desmos, it's going to make you even more confused. So yeah, you have to understand it on your own. So number 1 says solve for W. So how are we going to get W by itself? Divide by L. Good. And I make my L cursive because I think it looks weird. Like some people, I'm afraid it may look like a 1 if I don't do that. Actually, that looks weird too.
Looks like it's like a one of those cancer things. You just saw like a capital L.
Yeah, you could do like
Well, you're not supposed to. Yeah, I guess just for this instance because I don't want it to look like a W. So now you have A over L equals W. And that's literally all you would do.
That's like that's like a one step.
Okay? So number 2, how are we going to get H by itself?
divide
Divide
by
by
Divide by
B.
B. So that would give you,
Yeah, my bad.
what do y'all think that would give you?
A over B equals
A over B equals H.
That's easy.
Number 3, you're going to divide by
R.
R.
yeah.
And that'll give you D over R equals T. Okay, now number 4 it looks just a little bit different. We're solving for T. So what do we need to get rid of?
PR.
So those are both timesing. So what's opposite of timesing?
Divide.
So we're going to divide by PR. So what's cool about this is you can actually do more than one variable at once. So your final answer would be I over PR equals T. See, it looks pretty wild, but it's really not that bad if you think about it. If you use that brain that you have.
Wait, what about number 6?
Okay. Here, I want to go over each one of these. So, on number 5, you're going to divide by LW, good.
B over LW equals H.
That'd be V over LW equals H, good. Okay, now number 6 does look different. So we're trying to get R by itself. So first you're going to divide by pi to get rid of pi. Now this is where it gets confusing. So now we have A over pi equals R squared. Do we have R by itself?
No.
No.
Next part.
So does anybody know what the opposite of square means?
Q.
It has square in the words. It's 2 words.
Square root.
Yeah, you got to find the square root of both sides. So now we're going to take the square root of both sides. And that would cause that to cancel out. And now we're left with the square root of A over pi equals R. So problems like that, we're going to have to do some more practice on. But anytime you see squaring, you need to get rid of that. You just take the square root of it.
I understand.
I had to think
Okay.
about it for a
Well,
second.
yeah, after you.
After you do a few examples, you'll be
it's-
set.
You're just adding the square sign,
Yeah.
basically.
So number 7, we're going to get rid of C. So what do we got to do?
Add.
Add S.
Add S. So that's going to give us M plus S equals C. And if you said S plus M equals C, that's fine too. And then number 8, we're solving for D. So multiply by
V.
V. Very good. So we don't put D times V. What do we put?
Parentheses.
No.
You just put it together.
Yeah, just put dV. So dV equals M. And then you're done.